Welcome to the Family Brand Show. We're Chris and Melissa Smith of FamilyBrand.com, husband and wife, parents of 5, and we want to help you take back your family and to live life on your terms.
And we know being a family can feel really overwhelming. Parents tell us they feel like they're being pulled in a million different directions. It's so challenging to navigate the uncertainty and all the chaos that's happening in the world right now.
And that's why we want to bring you every single week actionable tips and strategies that you can implement in your daily life to become a better parent, to become a better spouse, and to build a stronger family. And look, there's never been a better time and a more important time than right now to take back your family. You can define what your family stands for, or the world is going to do it for you. And the world needs strong families now more than ever. And it starts right here with your family.
So it's that time of year where, at least for me, it's the end of summer and I've been looking forward to having no schedule, as summer is coming in, but as summer's going out, I'm like craving of more structure, more system, and they can't come soon enough. So I hope this hits you right then. If you're at that spot and you're craving more systems and structure with your family, I have the answer for you. I've been coaching a client recently and he is really into family meetings and he wants to optimize family meetings for his family. And it just got me thinking, let's talk about that on the podcast. I know we've talked about it before, but I think that you can never hear about it too much. Like we did a few episodes ago talking about being a reminder, like being the chief reminding officer. You can't hear about some of this stuff too much. So we're talking about family meetings today and how to make them so they don't suck and actually make them work. So it's something that everyone generally looks forward to and appreciates having.
Yeah, I think if you look at any organization, whether it's a school, a church, a family, a business, that organization, how well it runs or doesn't run it largely is a reflection of like the meetings they have or don't have and what they get accomplished or don't get accomplished in those meetings. And so I think one of the biggest risks around meetings in any organization, specifically around family, is either we have too many of them or we don't have enough of them. Effectiveness aside, right? It'd be great no matter how many we're having that they're effective. And what we hear from most families is that we're just not having enough. When it's like family meetings, it's like, well, what's that? Or yeah, we would love to do that, but where do we even start? It can feel really overwhelming.
We're just so busy. Yeah, we don't ever do it.
Yeah, in my experience of having coached and consulted lots of different companies and even with our own company, if you ever meet a company or come across a company that is just very intentional about everything they do, they provide a great customer, patient, client experience. They're very intentional in their communication. They're very thoughtful in their messaging. They go above and beyond to serve you. I guarantee you, I bet anything that if we went and looked inside of that company, they have very intentional meetings and rhythms, and those meetings and rhythms are highly effective. I also think that if we experienced a company where it's like terrible customer, patient, client experience or terrible customer service, or they were just getting things wrong all the time, like they were making all kinds of mistakes, so they weren't friendly or the product wasn't that great. If we went and looked inside of that company, we would find that their meetings are also very ineffective, or they don't have them, or they have too many of them and they're just not done well. And so like how you run your meetings has a lot to do with like how you run your family, or maybe a better way of saying it is how your meetings are run is how your family will run. And we've just done a lot of this by trial and error. And we've certainly taken approaches where I think we were probably trying to do too many meetings and being too intentional and driving our kids crazy. And I've also seen that when I feel like our family's off, it's just like we're not in sync. People aren't getting along. Basically, our family's just not running very well. Every time I've now learned to be like, oh, let's go back and look at how we've gotten away from like our rhythms around our meetings, and every time we have. But if we can hold our family meetings, our family just runs better and it runs smoother. So first and foremost, just a huge fan. And again, if you see an intentional family, if you see a family that's running smooth, that doesn't just happen by accident, just like in a company.
As you're saying that, it reminded me, oftentimes, depending on how the age of your kids or maybe their past experience with your family meetings, there's a chance that you might face a little bit of pushback. Like, why do we have to do this? Like, I don't want to do this. But I was reminded of something we've talked about before, which is called the challenge and support matrix. And that's kind of like a lens to look at your family culture. And I think that I'll link to that episode. It's a whole episode we did about creating a culture of challenge and support. And I think that that applies here because I think as the parents and the leaders of your family, you get to be the one that maybe challenges a bit. And if you're receiving some pushback, like, I don't want to do this meeting. Why do we have to do this? You get to challenge your family and be like, hey, this is important for our family. This is why. And we are going to do this. And even if you're receiving, again, the pushback, that's not a reason to not do it.
Totally. And you put together the family meeting guide, right? Around this.
Yeah, which I'm gonna give you a guide. I have a guide, and
It's amazing.
and it's free.
It's not just it's videos. It's like basically a course. And the reason I'm saying that is we could go through every detail of every single meeting we run here on the podcast, but I actually think the most useful thing is like take advantage of this resource that
Yeah.
Melissa could easily charge for, but it has put it together. I'll say this of one just pro tip that I've learned in our family and also even in running my company is sometimes you're having meetings without realizing you're having meetings. Like it doesn't always have to be like we are setting aside this time to have a meeting. To me, every meal we together is kind of is a meeting. It's part of our rhythm and our cadence and like baking things in. And that's one of the things we talk about a lot with our clients is when we with our consulting company help a client, let's say level up or recreate their mission, vision, values. I don't think that it's necessary that they now need to start holding a separate meeting every week indefinitely or for a period of time just to review their mission, vision, values. It's like, well, what's a meeting you're already having where we could just bake this in? And so I think that sometimes is an epiphany of like, you are having meetings, whether you realize it or not. And there are some like meetings in addition to mealtime that we think are really useful on a weekly basis that are super simple that Melissa breaks down in this course.
Yeah, you can go to familybrand.com/meeting. And again, you can download the PDF, or if you want to take it a step further, there are some videos where I kind of show how we run our family meetings. And we actually do individual meetings with our kids. I break that down too, what that looks like, and how we write our goals down for the kids every week and everything.
One word of caution, if I can say here.
Yeah.
You might watch this and get overwhelmed. What we're going to show you isn't where we started. And maybe we point that out in the course. It's like we've evolved to this. So what I would say is when you go through the guide and the videos that Melissa put together, just pick one thing and implement that for a while. Like whether it's the weekly meeting as a family or it's the individual meetings with each of your kids, but you don't need to do it all at once.
Yeah. And an analogy that we've used before is when you are implementing something new, it is like learning a new language. And sometimes it can feel awkward and you might not get it quite right. But that's not a reason to not keep trying and keep doing it. Another thing I will add here is snacks or food always make it better.
Totally.
Hands down. It will be much more of a success, much more likely to be successful if
If you
there's
bring
food
snacks
involved.
to the meeting.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes even with snacks, your children will complain and like mid-complaint, just shove food in. Just shove a snack in their mouth.
I was thinking, so again, we won't go into like the nitty-gritty of it. I'll let you access that on your own. But at a high level, I was thinking this week, how cool our son at the time of recording, he turns 18 this week, and I'm not gonna dwell there, I'll start crying. But I was thinking, how cool is it that as families, we have the opportunity to create these, like we're creating these little people and we get to like, I mean, of course they're their own person, but it's like the influence that we get to have on them is so amazing. And then we get to have these family cultures and then we get to like do this. It's amazing. And I think it's incredible. And I feel like at the end of my life, it's the thing I'm going to want to do like the best at. And so how can we optimize the time that we already have with our families, have these meetings, make our culture even better, make our families even stronger? And we found that the family meeting is a great way to do that. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the Family Brand Podcast. But wait, before you go, I want to give you something. It's something I stole out of our Family Brand Academy because I thought it would make a big difference for you, and I want you to have it for free, no strings attached. It's how we run our family meetings, and not just our family meetings that we have every week, but also our family check-ins, which is this system we've developed for how to connect with our kids and each other, Chris and I, every single week. And we've had some great outcomes with this. Not only have we, but a lot of families that have implemented this have as well. Actually, life-changing outcomes, if I'm being honest. You'll definitely want to get this. Go get your copy at familybrand.com/meeting, and we will catch you next time.